Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to the United Stand. Manchester United 2, Brighton 0. I tell you what, we'd have took that in a preview or before the game, wouldn't we? Look, you know what, there's, of course, a score can mask a performance, and I would agree, you know, great result, poor performance, but, you know, what do you want? Good performance, bad result. We needed the performance. Did we need the performance tonight? I don't think we did. Did we need the result? God, we did. I think if we draw that game today, you can pretty much start saying goodbye to top four. The win puts us in that race for top four. And Ronaldo's back. What a surprise. I can never, ever fail to be amazed by these prats who write Cristiano Ronaldo off and then end up looking like idiots. David De Gea made an absolute world-class save in the first half. That's going in. That is going in, and most goalkeepers ain't saving that. So De Gea, Dave saves again. And then second half, out of nothing. People said, what was the assist? I don't know who assisted it, because it wasn't an assist. It was just run at the defence, nothing's going on, cut inside and hit it quickly into the bottom corner. It was just a brilliant finish by Ronaldo, a brilliant save by David De Gea. It was almost like watching Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, to be honest. It was Ollie Ball, it was Moments FC, and look, that might be how we get top four. Because I tell you what, that's not Rangnick ball, and I think for the first time today, he started doing what we expected Rangnick might do if he couldn't get his team to play the way he wanted it to. I think he's just sending the players out to play the way they want to play. And I think we saw that, you know. Brighton, I mean, ultimately, that's how you stop giving away a 1-0 win. You get someone sent off. Because I tell you what, after that Ronaldo goal, do you think we win that game? I think we probably draw that game. I think the Ronaldo goal came out of nothing. And I think with 40 minutes, Brighton would have created chances with 11 men. But luckily for us, a minute later, Dunk, who's probably worse than Maguire, makes a stupid mistake. And the referee sends him off, and Brighton are up against it then. But you know what? I'm so glad Bruno scored at the end, because we need to score more than 2 in a game, and we've done it, which is fantastic. But yeah, look, I think you could spend a lot of time talking about the stuff that we've spoken about before. I still predict that in the next 18 months we're in big trouble. I still predict that you know that we're not going to get anywhere near being a title side without huge renovation work. But we might be able to get top four, and we might be able to do it playing like that, which is not playing particularly well, but keeping a clean sheet and relying on a moment. And when you've got Ronaldo, and when you've got Bruno, and when you've got Pogba and Sancho, and you can bring a Rashford on, then maybe if you can keep a clean sheet, you can score a goal like that. Because performance-wise, Brighton were better than us. And, you know, we've got one of the best goalkeepers in the world, and we've got one of the best strikers in the world, and we've won 1-0, and Brighton can't compete with that. I don't want to hear people saying Brighton were unlucky. They were not unlucky. They don't have Ronaldo, and they don't have David De Gea, and we do. And we pay David De Gea 350 grand a week, and we pay Cristiano Ronaldo £500,000 a week. We're not lucky. We pay those people to do those things, and ultimately that we pay them to be the difference, and they were the difference. So we can't say that Brighton were unlucky. We can say that Brighton played the better football. We can say that Manchester United's football is boring and horrible to watch, but we can't be told we were lucky. You know, the referee looked at that on VAR and said it was a red card. So I'm not going to have we were lucky. I'll accept that we were poor. I'll accept that, you know, that doesn't mean anything long term. We can't build on a performance like that. I'll talk about why in a minute. But player ratings, link in the video description. Mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. I think that's going to be very different, very interesting. Maguire never jumps, says Mark. Have you noticed this? He just pushes the player. Happy with Ronaldo's performance, but saying haters sit down after he's been poor the last few games and it's Brighton, standards have to be higher. No, CT. No. Brighton are a good team. That's a really good goal. You know, let's not put Ronaldo in the Rashford category or the McTominay category. He's a match winner, and he's won us the game. Put some respect on his name. You know, what a difference it is to have a midfielder that actually wants the ball when Pogba came on. If only we didn't let Donny go, says Aram. And the only positive I see today is Ronaldo and Bruno scoring again. Also, commentator was right. There is no explanation in the world to explain how Fred plays above Pogba. He is a difference maker. Well, we said that at half-time, Ronald. Unfortunately, we didn't need it to happen. But I felt that if you look at the game in its entirety, the first thing I would say from a tactical point of view is that if you told me Ollie was managing the team, I would not have been surprised. It was like getting in a DeLorean and going back 4 months. You know, we played a deep line with a back six for the first 45 minutes. It was Maguire with Shaw tucked in. It was Lindelof with Dalot tucked in on the edge of the box. It was McTominay and Fred in front of them. And it was counter-attacking football Every time someone got the ball, they were taking 2 or 3 touches. Now, look, it's not that long ago that Rangnick came in and we spoke about what Rangnick's all about. He hates the sideways pass. He wants you to move it quickly. He wants you to play a high line and he wants you to press. We did none of those things. We didn't play a high line. We didn't play the ball quickly forwards. And we basically counter-attacked. And I think the explanation for that is because some people will get really moody and go, oh, no, stop picking on Rangnick, Mark. But if you know anything about Rangnick, yes, he wants to play in a certain way, but at a point he will also just accept he's got to get the best out of what he's got. And I think tonight was an acceptance that he's got to get the best out of what he's got. These players have been dropping points. Top 4 is moving further and further away. I think what he did tonight, and he even said it halfway through the first half, he shouted it, 4-2-3-1. That's not the way we've been playing. He played with a back 6, he played on the break, and in the first half it was shambolic. It was a shambles. Catastrophically bad. They got booed by some of the fans. Brighton were the better team. But it was 0-0. It was 0-0. And Brighton were the better team, but really, yeah, I mean, they had a couple of chances and De Gea made a great save, but it's 0-0 at half-time. You've not lost the game. Second half, Ronaldo scores, they get a man sent off, you've got the 3 points. Yabba dabba do. So, you know, Brighton were good. Brighton play better footballer than us. Brighton are better on, you know, they pass the ball quicker, they pass the ball more confidently, they're a better pressing team, but they ain't got Ronaldo, they haven't got De Gea, and that's why we've won the game, and we move on. And ultimately, I look at the league table, we are into 4th place. We are 4 points ahead of Arsenal. They've got 3 games in hand, but they're not playing at the weekend. So if we beat Leeds, we're 7 points ahead of Arsenal. We're 4 games in hand, but you know what? I'd take that. I mean, it could have been better if we'd beaten Southampton or Burnley, but 7 points ahead of Arsenal with 4 games in hand. Okay, if they win them all, they go 5 points ahead of us, but challenge them to do that. So it's a big result. Honestly, I'd rather have Pogba coming on when we're in the pinch than having Fred coming on at a critical moment, says Killen. And if both were fully backed and you had to choose, would you rather have Rangnick full-time or Potter, says Sack? I think it's very unfair to criticise Rangnick's football when he's come into a team that's divided, that's got crap players in it, and he's halfway through a season, and Potter has had that team for a few years. I think Rangnick's done the sensible thing. I know we don't like it, but I think he's done the sensible thing. I think he's looked at it and gone, these players cannot play the way I want them to do. They're either not good enough or they just can't do it halfway through a season. And I think we'll see more of that. I think we'll go to Anfield and play like that. I think we'll go to the Etihad and play like that. We might go to Ellen Road and play like that. I think we're going to see more of that because ultimately they are used to it. You know, Maguire and Lindelof are used to playing like that. I mean, Varane will have to get used to it as well. Luke Shaw's used to that. McTominay and Fred are used to that. Bruno's used to that. The front 3 will have to just get used to it. You're living on scraps. Sit down, haters. Viva Ronaldo. Respect the goats, says Sir Nigel Farage. I'm just so happy we've seen the return of Sue as well. An incomplete 90 minutes. Slow start cost us against any team with competent strikers. Happy we got the 3 points, but still red flags all over the pitch, says Moonman. Passive and second half the best, but result more important than the performance. I'd take 2-0 against Brighton any day. I agree, Gerard, I do. Jonas, thank you for joining the members club. Please smash a like on the video. Ronaldo is back. It's like that thing, isn't it? Voldemort, he's back. Ronaldo is back, and so is Sue, the dream couple. But we'll do the player ratings in a minute because I do think there was some bad performance. I know Bruno scored. I thought he was shit. Bruno's one of my favourite players. I'd consider dropping him. If you're going to play McTominay and Fred at the weekend, you've got to start Pogba. We can't go back to putting Pogba on the wing. I don't know what people think. I'd seriously think about dropping Bruno for the weekends because I don't think we can play Bruno, McTominay and Pogba away from home. I think it's too dangerous. So we might have to drop Bruno even though he scored. But no, going back to the previous point there, Fred did the difficult job and Pogba had the luxury of coming on with a lead. No, let's not pretend Fred was any good, Mo. Can I go off topic? Can you do a compilation of your best quotes at the end of the season? Prop to the doctor with the prescription. That had me laughing, says Hugh. And an incomplete 90 minutes, slow cost us against a team with competent strikers. Happy we got the 3 points, but still red flags all over. I wanted to go back to that from Moonman before we do the player ratings. Yes. Do you think Bruno would be a good number 9? I reckon he's a better forward than a midfielder, says Nicholas. I don't think Bruno played well tonight. And the funny thing is, I'll probably get pelters for it, but I get pelters for having favourites. So Bruno is one of my favourites, but I don't actually have agendas. So if I see one of my players that I like play badly, I'll call it out. And I thought Bruno was wasteful today. And it would have cost us on a different day. I'm fully aware that, look, it doesn't matter what I say here because it doesn't matter. But I think if they hadn't had the man sent off, that would not have finished 1-0 to United. It could have been 1-1. It could have been 2-1 to us, but it would have been a very different game. I think the red card saved us. And, sometimes you need that. And it's not luck. The referee's looked at it with VAR and he's decided it's a red. So, you can't say it's luck. But you can't ignore that 45 minutes in the first half. And you can't. The second half wasn't that great either. We created a couple of chances that were clear cut, but we're playing against 10 men, and I still think Brighton passed the ball better than us. So we're going to keep struggling with those players. We are capable of winning games, and we've shown that before tonight and tonight. But that's not a performance where we can go, oh, that's something to build on. We need to build on it, but we are still going to struggle. We are still going to struggle, and we've just got to try and find a way of getting enough points to beat enough teams, or beat more teams than Arsenal are going to at the moment, because I think they're the major threat for top four. But yeah, it's not like we've got anybody to come back, is it? As well, I keep saying this. There's nobody to come back. Cavani comes back when he's fit, and Varane comes back and makes us stronger. But you know what? I'm going to say it right now. I don't think Maguire was terrible tonight. I'm not going to have that. I don't think he was terrible. But if you give him Maguire a 6, you've got to give Lindelof a 7. He played really well, Lindelof. Like, he stepped out from the back loads of times. Remember I did that video last week comparing Maguire and Lindelof, and how Lindelof has got more interceptions than Maguire by a long way, and he's got more defensive actions than successful defensive actions. I think if you watch that game back tonight, you'll see what an interception is, and Lindelof's brilliant at it. He moves from his position 5 metres and steps forward and takes the ball. He's a very intelligent player in that, and I thought Lindelof was reasonably good tonight. I thought Maguire was okay, but I thought Lindelof was better. And this is why I want to see Lindelof and Varane. And it's interesting because probably Varane's back on Sunday, and it's Varane and Maguire again. And again, I will say this. Lindelof was playing really well, and he had a family emergency. He comes back, Maguire's playing badly, and he doesn't get his spot back. He steps in tonight at a moment's notice for Varane. He's the better centre-back and he'll get dropped again. So I thought Lindelof did reasonably well. I disagree, Mark. Bruno won the ball back a lot, created very good chances, says Alabe. Wait, by all means, disagree with me about Bruno, because I like Bruno. I don't like saying I don't think he had a good game. Bruno's one of my favourite players. If you want to disagree with me on that, I'm not going to complain, but I'm just being honest. I don't think he was that good tonight. Abhishek says, let's not get too carried away with that win. Brighton, even with 10 men, still nearly nicked it. First half, by the way, were abysmal. Lots of work ahead. Abhishek, I think, nail on the head. I think you have to take joy in these results, because we needed to win and we did. And I think also winning when you don't play particularly well. I wouldn't say winning when you play badly, because we deserve to win. But winning when you don't play that well, you've got to, that can be something. We've been dropping points when we should have won. So to win when we didn't play particularly well, you've got to take the positives from it. I think there may be trouble ahead. That there may be trouble ahead. I'm not convinced that we played well, but you know what? Leeds play quite open, and I'm fairly confident that we, as confident as you can be. But well, no, I'm not going to say the word confident. But we should beat Leeds and Watford. Leeds are down the bottom. Watford are down the bottom. Brighton are a good side. Southampton are a good side. We've taken 4 points from Brighton and Southampton. We should be taking 6 points from Watford and Leeds. And then obviously we've got some difficult games. But it will just stand us in good stead if we can do it. Was Bruno wasteful? 2 absolutely world-class crosses that set up Ronaldo with 2 point-blank headers that he should have buried. Who else does that, says Nick P. See, I'm getting in trouble now for being actually fair and actually calling out one of my favourite players. I'm now getting shit for it. You always talk like Maguire doesn't get bullied. Welbeck jumped, says Sunday. And how do the Glazers think we could rely on McTominay as our holding midfielder? His positional is dreadful and offence on defence, says Alboy. I think McTominay looked good when he got forward, but as a holding midfielder, I'd have to agree with you. Benham, thanks for the super chat. Let's be honest, they were all over us with 10 men. What are chances against Atletico Madrid, says Artur. The Champions League doesn't concern me. The Champions League is just a bonus. I mean, we are going to get knocked out of the Champions League at some point, so we may as well just enjoy the Champions League. I'm sorry, Mark, but that was shocking, like absolutely shocking. Like a 6 out of 10 for us, as a 4-10 out for a normal top 6 side, not even a top 4, says Ryan. Ronaldo was just saving it to peak in the Champions League, says Sharath. This result reminds me of Everton last season, where Decore misses a gilt-edged chance and we go and get the third on the break, says K Flow. And hey, Mark, De Gea is man of the match because he doesn't make the save, it's over. Yeah, Vikrant, I agree. I mean, I think I know who my man of the match is going to be, and I'll do it in a minute. Fred was terrible. What do Ranieri can Ollie see in him, says Ken. I don't think Fred was the only terrible one, mate. I thought the midfield got dominated from minute 1 to minute 90. Ronnie might be back, but one thing that ain't is free kicks, says Gucci. We stormed referee when Elanga got fouled. We need to do that more. Saw how we got the decision in our favour, says Sarvesh. I mean, look, no, we did storm the referee and Bruno got booked for it. I think there's a lot of indiscipline in that team. I mean, it feels to me like McTominay's been booked 20 times this season. He seems to get booked every game, but Ronaldo, that sending off would have been a sending off whether we'd stormed the referee or not because it came from VAR. But there's a good point to discuss about Ronaldo. And we were speaking about this before the game, and maybe some of you weren't watching the pre-match chat, but take this on board. Cristiano Ronaldo has done this at Real Madrid. He's done it at Juventus. He's had not great starts to the season, and then around February time to May, he peaks. So, look, that goal will do him the world of good. And if we get a confident Ronaldo, I mean, that goal's out of nothing. It's like the Atalanta goal. It's rescued us. If we get... All I'm saying is watch this space with Ronaldo because he has this tendency to start performing at this time of the season. It's almost like he prepares himself. And Portugal have got massive games in March as well. Massive games in March. They might not go to the World Cup. So watch this space with Ronaldo. What a goal. Maguire had to defend twice in this game on his own and he complains, are you not the captain? Are you not a defender? What is his problem? Says Gabriel Noel. Mark is just a Bruno realist, says Louis. And Ralph realised this team cannot press for 90 minutes, so today he decided to press second half. I don't think he decided to press in the second half at all, Branch. I think they went down to 10 men, so we pressed. I think we would have played defensive for the whole game if we hadn't. Bruno received the ball on the halfway and had very little options. It's McFred again, not Bruno, says Kovashin. Right, let's do the player ratings. You can do yours through the link in the video description. Mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. I'm just about to do them now. Looking forward to this, actually. We are celebrating a win in the league, which is great. And I think it will be interesting because we didn't play particularly well, but we won the game. So where does the positivity meet the realism? Let's see. So David De Gea is my man of the match. I'm going to give him man of the match straight away. And I'm going to give him an 8 because I actually think that second half he didn't have a lot to do, but he made some big saves in the first half. I thought the save from the header was world class. I thought his distribution was a lot better tonight. It had been dipping recently. And I think that if he doesn't make that save, we don't win the game. And he also got a clean sheet, which for David De Gea is very rare because a lot of the time he can't do anything about the goals that he concedes. So he's achieved on lots of different levels tonight, David De Gea, and I would give him an 8. You've given him a 7.6, and I would give him man of the match. And the reason I don't normally do this quite straight away, but I would give him man of the match because I guarantee you, if that goal goes in from Brighton and we're 1-0 down, we lose that game because those players would have been booed off, their heads would have dropped, and it would have been over. So I think David De Gea had a massive part to it, and he kept us in the game in the first half when we were shit. So yeah, hope we don't get carried away. Happy with the performance, though some positives, but means nothing if we get back to normal next match. Yeah, we're fortunate that we've got Leeds and Watford because we should get a bit of a kick on and we should be beating them, but let's wait and see. CT, good point. Right, Delo, for me it was an average 6. Nothing particularly wrong, but nothing particularly good. I think Delo, I heard some people in the chat and the watch along and they were starting to say I think we should give Wan-Bissaka the spot back. I don't know what you think about that, but I disagree that we should give him the spot back. I don't think Delo is playing badly. I think he's hindered by the fact that he's playing with Elanga and Rashford, neither of which want to play off the right, neither of which are very good at defending from the right, and neither of which want to pass on the overlap. So I think Delo's offensive skills are being subdued by who he's having to play with. And I don't think he's getting a lot of defensive support. So I think he was average today. But I certainly wouldn't... I don't know what people think. I wouldn't be ready to bring Wan-Bissaka in yet. No, I wouldn't. Maguire, I'm actually going to give him an average 6. I know that he could go low. But in the spirit of we won the game and in the spirit of he didn't make loads of mistakes, I'd give him an average 6. And we did keep a clean sheet. And I did predict that he'd probably have a better game because we were playing a deep line with 2 holding midfielders and the fullbacks were tucked in. So he didn't get exploited as much as he might have done. So I'd give him an average 6, but I mean, I wasn't massively impressed by him. I still think he looks very limited as a centre back, but I'm not gonna, start making up giving him a 4 or a 5, because I think realistically he was okay. I'd still drop him at the weekend to play Lindelof with Varane. And look, I've got to give Lindelof a higher score, so I'd give him a 7. And which, to be fair, you've given 4.7 to Maguire and you've given 5.9 to Lindelof. So we are right. There is a difference in the performance. It's just you've gone with lower scores. So I would give Lindelof a 7. As I said, I thought he was tidy. I think it's very difficult to come into a game. Put yourself into Lindelof's head. He should be playing. He's not playing. He's probably pissed off. Half an hour before lineup, you are playing because Varane's not playing. You get your head in the game, you come in, and you're the better centre-back. His interceptions was really good. His passing was really good. There was a couple of times where crosses came in and he got found out a little bit, but, so did Maguire. So, Varane was sick to get Victor play and show Ralph, says Rupee. Yeah, we'll see. I'd play Lindelof at the weekend with Varane. Varane will be back and I'd play Lindelof, but obviously we know it won't happen. But, again, I don't want to dwell on a negative, but I still don't understand why we're not playing Lindelof and Varane, and I still don't understand why Maguire is playing. But I saw Ranić talking to Maguire walking off the pitch, and it's like, it's like they're almost equals the way they're having a chat. So, obviously Ranić values him. Maguire was solid. Lindelof took the game on and created off our back line. Ronaldo was a bit impatient at times. Yeah, Joe, I think, I wouldn't disagree with that. How does Fred start ahead of Pogba, says Ben? I think the Pogba thing is probably about trying to give him a rest. I can forgive it for that. Luke Shaw, 6 for me. Same as Delo. Nothing special. Got booked. Probably a 5.5 actually, but I'm willing to be a bit generous. Fred, no, I'm not going to be generous here. The defence kept a clean sheet and didn't make many mistakes, but the midfield got bossed. We can't sit here and say, somebody's got to take the blame. I don't blame the defence. I don't think we gave loads of chances away. And I think the chances we did give away happened a lot because they were overrun. Brighton dominated the ball. I think it was 50-50% possession, even though we played against 10 men for 40 minutes. We lost the midfield battle. And Fred was a big part of that. So it's a 5 for me. And it's a 5 for McTominay as well. We lost the midfield battle. They were the midfield. And we lost the midfield battle. So I'm not going to dwell on it too much. McTominay's got a massive disciplinary problem, by the way. Every bloody game he's giving fouls away and he's getting booked. And at some point he's going to get sent off. Somebody needs to have a word with him because, Scooby-Doo passion merchant and all that. I mean, it's great. But, I like it. I like the fact that he gets in people's faces. But you can't get booked every game, mate. You've got to do it in a way that's not getting you booked. Because that's not being a passion merchant, that's being indisciplined. So he's got to be careful about that because he's going to have another suspension soon. The yellow cards rule will tot up. But no, we lost the midfield battle. We've lost many midfield battles, and I think the reason Brighton dominated the ball was because the midfield lost the battle. Which brings me on to Bruno, which is quite interesting because Bruno, for me, was a 6. The goal rescued him, and a couple of good crosses rescued him, but I didn't like him. I can't stand his petulance. I've called out McTominay for indiscipline. Bruno's one of my favourite players. I cannot stand his petulance. And he did it again. And I've never really noticed it. And loads of people have been on about it. And I'm a massive Bruno fan. I love Bruno. Absolutely love him. But I'm pissed off with his attitude. It's petulant and it's embarrassing. I don't mind Roy Keane and Beckham running at a referee when they've lost their temper, But Bruno's is like, he's hopping around like a child. It's embarrassing. And he's been doing it all season. That's not Manchester United, mate. I don't think any United fan likes it, and he needs to stop doing it. It wasn't as bad today because it was on a key red card, but on Saturday against Southampton, it's 1-1 with 2 minutes to go, and he's moaning about a yellow card, a foul in our own half. He needs to stop doing that. But I think the goal rescued him. I mean, he missed a couple of sitters, and I don't think he was his best game. And I will say this, and I'm going to say this, if we're going to play Fred and McTominay at the weekend, you've got to play Pogba, which means you've either got to put Bruno on the right and Sancho on the left, which I don't mind doing, but Pogba's got to start in the midfield on Sunday. And if he's going to go with McTominay and Fred, then Bruno's going to have to move to the right or the bench, because Pogba's got to start on Sunday, 100%. I know he's leaving in the summer, and I know he's using us, and I know he's putting himself in the shop window, but do you want to get in the top 4? Yes, Pogba's probably going to go, but we need to use him as much as he's probably using us. So, yeah, 6.2 for Bruno. Elanga, look, I'm not having the criticism of Elanga. I'm not having it, right? It was his assertiveness that got us the red card. He didn't have a good game, but he ain't Marcus Rashford, and he ain't Scott McTominay, and he ain't Jesse Lingard. And what I mean by that is Lingard, Rashford and McTominay have been playing in the first team for years from the youth setup. This lad has only been playing in the first team for a few weeks, and you can't start writing these players off and calling them shit when they're coming from the youth setup at 19. It's way too early. But I think people get impatient and they start putting him in the same category as Rashford and McTominay and Lingard, who've had loads and loads and loads of games. He's right at the start of his journey. It wasn't his best game, but you know what? He got a man sent off, and that probably helped us win the game. So, you know, give the lad a bit of credit and give the lad a bit of patience. I've seen it with Chong as well, I don't like our fan base going in on young players who are that young. Maybe they're not going to be good enough, but they're never going to be good enough if you kill their confidence. It's way too early to start calling them shit and this, that and the other. You might think they're not good enough, that's fine, but I would just encourage you to have a bit of patience. He's only been part of the first team setup for a few weeks, and we have to have a little bit of patience. So I'm just going to give him a 6. Sancho was a 6. Some brilliant bits of skill from Sancho, but didn't get him on the ball enough. Bit of a graveyard shift for Sancho at times, and his final ball was a bit off compared to normal. So I'd just say average 6. Ronaldo 7 for me. He could have had a couple of assists. He set Sancho up at the start in the first half, and I thought that the goal was just Ronaldo out of absolutely nothing. It's funny, on a night that Messi misses a penalty, Ronaldo scores a worldie. Never write Ronaldo off. You just can't write him off. He's too good a player. And I hope that this kick-starts Ronaldo now, because he'll start believing again. Confidence has been down. Ronaldo could be the player that gets us top 4. Arsenal haven't got a player like that. We have. So I thought Ronaldo was the... it's either Ronaldo or De Gea man of the match. So I went with De Gea. And you know what? Pogba's got to get... can I give him a 7? Yeah, I can. He's got to start on Sunday. He just makes things happen. 100% he's putting himself in the shop window, and I don't know why it winds people up. Of course he is. If I'm Paul Pogba and I've got 3 months of football, and I know in the summer I'm out of contract, and I know I want as many offers as I can, and I want the biggest wage I can, and that's all I want. And how do I do that? By playing well. Oh, he's doing it to put himself in the shop window. Well, whose fault's that? That's United's fault. We've got, as a club, as fans, as a manager, Ralph Rangnick has got to use him. We've got to use him. And look, the weird thing is Pogba probably won't be here next year and Bruno will. But if it comes down to it, I'd drop Bruno for Pogba. And I know that's weird, but I don't think the long-term future of this club's any good anyway. So we may as well try and grab what we can in the short term before he goes. And Champions League football could be pivotal if we keep picking Pogba. Rashford was not very good when he came on. He wasn't. I'm not going to dwell on it. He wasn't very good when he came on. I thought Telles was average, which leaves us with Ralph Rangnick. And look, I think with the players, when you're talking about David De Gea, when you're talking about Ronaldo, you're talking about players that are... If you don't like watching Bruno moaning about Ronaldo, who's moaning for 90 minutes in every game with everyone like Sancho, for example. Yeah, but David, you've made the same mistake as somebody else. Why are you comparing Bruno Fernandes to Cristiano Ronaldo? I don't understand why people do that. Cristiano Ronaldo is a goat of the game. Like he gets different levels of respect and patience because of that. If you don't like that, that's my explanation. But Ralph Rangnick's an interesting one, because I think we've won this game and it's a great result. We've won it because of moments, David De Gea's save and Ronaldo's winner, because it was the winner. I know Bruno scored at the end. But the performance wasn't great. So do you give Rangnick a 7 because it's a great result? Or do you give him a realistic 5 because we played badly? It's hard to give Rangnick a score, because I agreed with dropping Rashford, but I disagreed with dropping Pogba. I disagreed with starting Maguire. So I wasn't massively leaning towards his team. The first half was crap, and I don't think that took a lot of coaching. I really do feel like it was I almost feel like, like you used to hear this a lot. I almost feel like there's been a team meeting with Rangnick and the players as to what's going wrong and how they get through this. And I think he's almost taken on board what maybe a Maguire's said or a Fletcher or somebody, where they've all agreed that, look, we've only got 3 months. Let's get the best out of the 3 months. Let's play in a way that suits everybody. And we've abandoned this sort of 4-3-3 with Maguire, with Bruno and Pogba, and trying to play a high line. And we've gone back to the deep line, back six, counter-attacking Ollie way. And I don't knock Rangnick for that. It's very clear that we did that. He shouted 4-2-3-1 himself, and we've all got the ability to see how deep the line was and how we were counter-attacking and how much Brighton dominated the ball. It might be the cleverest thing he does, because if the players are more comfortable with this situation and we start grinding the results out, well, we were happy with it last year. Most games last year we were like, we played crap, but we won. And we know there's a big change coming in the summer. So, maybe it's a masterstroke by Rangnick to just say, look, you're never going to play the way I want to play. I want you to pass it forward. I want you to play a high line. I want you to press. You can't do it. We get torn apart. So let's go back to your way for 3 months. And in the summer, there's going to be big change. Maybe that's the way to go. So maybe he deserves a 7 because he's actually gone, I'm not going to be arrogant. I'm not going to force my way on you. I want you to do what you're comfortable with, and we'll work that way. Because it was counter-attack. It was moments. It was, lethargic on the ball. But we were quite structured in our defence in the way that we didn't leave loads of gaps in behind. So, I don't know. But it wasn't a good performance, but it was a good result. So, I'm tempted to just give him a 6, really, which is what you've done. So, there you go. Sometimes it's good management to realise the limitations of your squad and do things that make them feel comfortable, even if it's not that good to watch. We did get the result. McTominay's the most average player in the Premier League and is not first team quality, says Cameron. And I've been saying Potter deserves a shot at the United job. I love his style of play, and look at what he's doing with Brighton, just as qualified as Poch. They would never go with him, Mr. Ferg, because at the end of the day, they wouldn't go near him because he's not glamorous enough, whereas Pochettino is. Simple as that. United want the clicks, they want the socials, they want the influence. So let's see who got man of the match. I'm not surprised. Cristiano Ronaldo was always going to win it. The Sue is back, and 48%. The goal scorer always wins it over the defender. Interestingly enough, David De Gea only got 27% of the vote, and then Pogba was in third place. So, David De Gea won as the game in the first half, and Ronaldo won as the game in the second half. So it's as simple as that. I've got no problem with that. Please smash a like on the video, by the way. And we'll head over to the fan forum and see what they've got to say. I'm back in the morning. Sue's back tonight. Manchester United have won. And I'd leave you with this. Worst performance in a long time at Old Trafford, but best performance in a long time. But best result. I thought we were worse than we were against West Ham. We were worse than we were against Southampton. We were worse than we were against Middlesbrough. But the best result, because we beat somebody 2-0 instead of 1-0 or drawing. So it's a funny old game, football. And it doesn't always pan out. I said it at half time. People were going mad. I said, you just don't know what's going to happen in the second half. A Ronaldo individual brilliance, a red card, and we've got the 3 points. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you in the morning. Let's get over to the fan forum. I'll push you over there now. I won't do because I've not actually pressed stop streaming. I'm really, really wanting a drink of water. I don't think I've actually drunk any water for about 50 minutes, but I might have a glass of wine instead. I could. Don't put water in your wine.